can be there. Appreciate it. From Chuck in Western Oklahoma, what's your take on what's going on in Afghanistan? Have you seen the people desperately trying to escape on the wings of planes? Yeah. You know, I think what is going on in Afghanistan today, which is America turning its back on those who helped it for 20 years. The people we're turning our back on are the people that risk their lives to keep our boys alive. And they did it. They were our translators. They were our friends. These are the people trying to get out now. It's not the Taliban chasing, trying to get out. They're not interested in coming here other than to kill us. But it's the good Afghans who helped us out. We were trying to help them out. They did help us out. And now Joe Biden says, go to hell. I don't care anything about you. I honestly, you know, you can go to hell. Who cares? This is Joe Biden and all the Democrats who vote for him. You know, if there's a Democrat out there, I would love to have a conversation with you someday and try to get you to defend this absolutely hellish thing of just saying, we're out of here. Sorry. We decided we don't want to spend the money there anymore. No, we're done. I think it's a devilish kind of political policy. I think it's selfish. I think it's crude. I think it's self-serving. I think that it is hellish. I can't get strong enough words about it, at least that a preacher should say on the air. That's what's going on in Afghanistan today. And Joe Biden owns it. I know Donald Trump said, yeah, we're going to draw down our troops, we're going to get out of there. But Joe Biden's the one that did it in the way that it was done. It is a Joe Biden demon crap policy. He and his party are the ones that have done it. And the world ought to be saying, get out of office, Joe Biden. You can't handle it. Get an Afghan and go sit by the fire. You're done. You have utterly embarrassed our nation. Worse than that, you have put every one of our military troops at risk of their lives all around the world for now and generations to come. I was thinking this morning, he's in the running to be worse than Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter, in my opinion, was the worst president in our history, in my lifetime. And the reason I say that is Jimmy Carter had long-term effects. You know, Barack Obama's legacy was gone in 22 minutes, and you know, Bill Clinton didn't do anything, and all those kind of things. And besides that, Bill Clinton was like, he couldn't be elected today. He's way too conservative. Strange as that is to say. But what's going on in Afghanistan today is just totally, it's either totally inept or totally evil. Which one do you want? Totally inept or totally evil? Honestly, I don't know which one. We want to say Joe Biden is totally inept, but he was a senator and a vice president and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he should know these things. I don't care if he's asleep at the wheel for the 40 years of his billionaire public service. You can't excuse it, which means he's evil, which means if you voted for him, you voted for an evil man. That's what it means. So, you know, we could talk about Afghan policy, our Afghanistan policy over the last 20 years of both parties. You know, it's never gone well. And further, we would have to go back and talk about Afghanistan for the last 100 years. It's never gone well. The Taliban, under whatever name, always wins in the end. Over 100 years, the Brits were there, the Russians were there, the Americans were there, whatever. Rudyard Kipling's got a good book about war in Afghanistan. It was over 100 years ago. The problem we have in Afghanistan is that for 20 years, we have never called the Taliban an evil regime that must be wiped from the face of the earth at any cost. We refuse to say that. And so we never wiped them off the earth. They exist today. And they will always, like cockroaches, be there. And as soon as the lights go off, whoosh, they'll take over. And until both parties wake up and say, that's the case there, we can clean Afghanistan, we can make a new nation out of it, but it is going to be a lot of shock and awe. And it's the only way that Afghanistan is ever going to be a peaceful nation. And it's going to have, now Joe Biden doesn't have enough backbone to do that. But I don't know that either party does. They don't want to mess with it. So either build a big fence around it and say, let all of them go to hell, or do something. And unfortunately, all we're going to do is send more of our boys in there to die. On a war which we can't figure out what we want to accomplish. So you gotta, and Linda has a good word here. You can't get a bunch of tribes to have a democratic government. That was the mistake of highest proportions. I totally agree with you. Democracy simply doesn't work when there is not an across the board equal understanding of the values of that society. And when you have all these different tribes that have a different set of moral virtues, democracy won't work. It'll never work. Which means you got to have a monarchy in there. And it's got to be a monarchy of tremendous strength to take care of it. And I agree with Sue Ellen as well. Please do not call Americans to task for this. This is Biden and the left liberals. America, at least 75% are aghast and ashamed. I totally agree with that. I think what I'm saying now probably would be affirmed by 75% or more of Americans. It is the Biden administration. He owns it. He's hiding under a rock this weekend. And you know, unless something's happened in the last few hours, his whole administration's hiding under a rock. They've all gone on vacation somewhere. They're nowhere to be found, which is utterly unacceptable. I don't care if it's the weekend. You are the president of the United States, or the vice president. Where is she? I hadn't seen her in months. It's kind of been a blessing. The press secretary, somebody's got to get out there. The Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, somebody. Put Deb Haaland, the Secretary of the Interior, out there. At least she likes to, get in front of the cameras. Put somebody out there. Say something. And yet they don't. The Biden administration, again, inept or evil, they don't want to be called inept. I'll just go with evil. And leave it out there at that. Great question. Chuck, little worldview question for this morning on things that are going on in our world today. Well, looky there. Let's see.